Hello, third graders. Miss Peterson coming to you live from my home studio in Minneapolis. I am super excited about the lesson today because we are going to learn all about religion during the ancient Greek times, as well as getting to meet and learn about the different Greek gods and goddesses during this time. You're going to learn a lot of cool facts about them and hear some cool stories about them, so I'm super pumped, and I hope you are as well. We are going to start the lesson out by watching just a short little 2-minute video that introduces what ancient Greek religion was like during this time. And before we get started, you are going to need a couple things. You are going to need a pencil and your worksheet. Once you have those things, you can continue on with the video.
Hello everyone, I'm Raisa, Mr. Neville's daughter, and today I want to talk to you about the religion of ancient Greece. I know my dad talked to you about myths. A myth is any traditional story of a culture that is used to explain the workings of the universe or the reason why a culture does things a certain way. Today we talk about the beliefs of the Greeks as mythology, but at the time it was an important religion that the Greeks took very seriously. The ancient Greeks believed that humans were weak and insignificant compared to the natural world. Because of this, they often sought to be the best they could be in order to be valued by the gods. They called this arete, which is Greek for virtue or excellence. There was another side to this though. A person who had too much pride in themselves, who began to act outside of the will of the gods, was seen to have too much hubris, and this could lead to being punished by the gods. The ancient Greeks believed that the gods had a hand in every moment of their lives. Not only did each city have a patron god, but each family would dedicate a part of their home to a different god too. Your bedroom might be dedicated to Hera, the goddess of marriage, but your courtyard, where an owner's power was said to be displayed, would be dedicated to Zeus. Although there were many, many gods in ancient Greece, the greatest and most powerful were the 12 Olympian gods. Each of these gods had their own throne atop Mount Olympus. They formed a council of sorts, which made decisions about everything that happened on Earth. The ancient Greeks would sacrifice animals such as goats and cows on altars to the particular god whose favor they were trying to gain. If you wanted a good harvest, for example, you might burn the innards of a goat at an altar to Demeter, the goddess of the harvest. Despite the fact that gods were immortal and had immense power, they also reflected some of the character traits of humans too. They could be mean, spiteful, jealous, and cruel, just like real people. It was one of the reasons why almost half the year was spent in one religious festival or another. If you were about to go on a voyage or begin a battle, a little prayer or sacrifice could go a long way to ensuring its success. The gods were fickle and could easily change their minds, so it was important to stay on their good side. Good luck on your research. Keep looking. You just might learn something.
So as you guys learned in the video, the ancient Greeks worshipped many gods and goddesses, and this practice is called polytheism. So today we are going to meet 9 of those Greek gods and goddesses. And those gods include Zeus, Apollo, Poseidon, Hades, and Ares. And the goddesses we are going to meet are Artemis, Athena, Aphrodite, and Hera. So let's go ahead and meet them. Okay, so the first god that we are going to meet today is Zeus, and he was the king of all the Greek gods who lived on Mount Olympus. He was the god of the sky and thunder, and his symbols included the lightning bolt, the eagle, the bull, and the oak tree. Like I said, he was one of the most powerful Greek gods, and he had a number of powers, but his most famous power was his ability to throw lightning bolts. He had a winged horse named Pegasus who carried his lightning bolts, and he also trained an eagle to retrieve them. Zeus was also married to a goddess named Hera, who also happened to be his sister. Hera and Zeus together had 10 children, and some of those we will learn about in this presentation. Before we move on to the next guide, here are the final kind of most important things that you need to know about Zeus. Take a moment and make sure that you are adding all these important notes onto your worksheet. This guy right here is Poseidon, and he is a god in Greek mythology and one of the 12 Olympians. He is one of the 3 most powerful Greek gods, along with Zeus and Hades, and rules over the ocean and all bodies of water. As you can imagine, he was especially important to Greek sailors and fishermen. as you can see in this picture, he is pictured with a trident, and that was his symbol. Poseidon had complete power and control over the ocean. He could create storms to sink ships or clear weather to help them along, which is why he was so important to those sailors and the fishermen. Another thing Poseidon is known for was his creation of the horse. There are two stories that tell how and why he did this. The first story is that he fell in love with the goddess Demeter. And in order to impress her, he decided to create the world's most beautiful animal, a horse. And he spent so long creating this horse that by the time he was done, he no longer was in love with Demeter. The other story is that he made this horse to win over the city of Athens from Athena, who happened to be one of his rivals. So again, here are those important notes and things that you need to know about Poseidon. So take a moment, pause the video, add these to your worksheet, and we will move on. All right, this beautiful lady right here is Aphrodite. Aphrodite was the goddess of love and beauty. She is also a member of the 12 Olympian gods who lived on Mount Olympus. She is most famous for being the most beautiful of the goddesses. Her special powers were those of love and desire. She had a belt, or also a girdle, which is her symbol, that had the ability to cause others to fall in love with whomever was wearing it. Some of the other Greek goddesses, such as Hera, would borrow the belt from time to time. And here are the important things that you need to know about Aphrodite. So again, take this moment, add these notes to your sheet, and get ready to meet our next god or goddess. Here we have Artemis. Artemis is the Greek goddess of hunt, wilderness, moon, and archery. She is the twin sister of the god Apollo and one of the 12 Olympians who lived on Mount Olympus. She spends most of her time in the forest surrounded by animals such as hunting dogs, bears, and deer. Her symbols included the bow and hounds. Her special powers included the perfect aim with a bow and arrow, and it is said that when she would use her arrows, they would always be silver. It is also said that she had the ability to turn herself and others into animals. And here we have the most important things you need to know about Artemis. So again, take this time, add this to your notes, and then we'll move on. Here we have Athena. She is the goddess of wisdom, courage, and arts and crafts. She is famous for being the patron god of the city of Athens. She was known to have helped many of the Greek heroes, such as Hercules and Odysseus, on their adventures. Athena was considered one of the most intelligent and wisest of the Greek gods. She was also good at war strategy and giving heroes courage. She also had the ability to invent useful items and crafts. It is said that she invented the ship, the chariot, the plow, and the rake. She also invented many of the skills used by women in ancient Greece, such as weaving and pottery. All right, you know the drill. Here are the important notes that you need to know about Athena. Add these and then join me back. Okay, so this lady should be familiar with you guys. This is Hera. She is the goddess of marriage and childbirth. She is also the wife and sister of Zeus. She was considered the queen of Mount Olympus. The women of Greece would pray to Hera for protection during childbirth, good health, and to aid them in their marriages. She also had power over the skies and could bless people with clear skies and curse them with storms. And here's what you need to know. Add those notes. All right, next up we have Ares. Ares was the god of war and violence, and his symbol, as seen in his picture, was his spear. He was one of the 12 major Greek gods who lived on Mount Olympus. He was known for being violent and cruel. Most of the other Olympians including his parents, Hera and Zeus, did not like him very much. His special powers were those of strength and physicality. As a god of war, he was a superior fighter in battle and caused great bloodshed and destruction wherever he went. Those important things to know, add them now. Here we have Hades. Hades is the god of the underworld and death, and his symbol included the scepters. He is one of the three most powerful Greek gods, along with his brothers Zeus and Poseidon. Hades had complete control of the underworld and all its subjects. Besides being an immortal god, one of his special powers was invisibility. He wore a helmet called the Helm of Darkness that allowed him to become invisible. It is said that he once loaned his helmet out to the hero Perseus to help him defeat the monster Medusa. I forgot to mention this earlier, but he was the only god that did not live on Mount Olympus. So take a moment, let's add these important notes and move on. Here is Apollo, and he is going to be the last god that we meet today. He is the god of the sun, music, poetry, archery, healing, and prophecy. He is the twin brother of Artemis, and his symbols were the sun and a golden chariot. He was also the patron god of the city of Delphi. And his special powers included the ability to see into the future and power over light. He could also heal people or bring illness and disease. And when in battle, Apollo was deadly with the bow and arrow. And again, here are those important notes. Make sure you are adding them to your worksheet. All right, so this concludes our lesson today. I hope you guys had as much fun learning about the gods and goddesses as I did. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Goodbye.